I just got back from an incredible trip to Egypt. This was my second time in the country. The first time was around 3 years ago. And I'm surprised at how hard it still is to figure out how the hell do you get an Egypt visa with an Indian passport. So I learned that there are four possible scenarios of when you're traveling to Egypt. And the fourth one is the easiest. That's the one that we use this time. So stick around to see if that's your scenario. So, scenario number one is probably the most common scenario. This is if you're traveling to Cairo and you plan to travel across the country. So, you're landing at Cairo airport, you want to see the pyramids, you want to see the Valley of the Kings, maybe you want to visit the Red Sea coast. In this case, you need to get an e visa for Egypt. Now, to get an e visa, it's not as straightforward as going to an e visa website and applying. What you need to do is get a letter, a guarantee letter from an agent who confirms that you are going to be traveling on a certain itinerary and then you will leave the country at the end of it. So, what we did the last time we traveled is we booked our own flights, we booked our own accommodation, and made our own plan of what we're going to do. And then we got in touch with the travel company in Egypt asking for support with the e visa. They agreed to give us the guarantee letter based on our itinerary and also applied for the e visa on our behalf. And the cost for this was $10 per person, which sounded pretty reasonable. The caveat was that they also wanted us to book a tour with them. So we booked an airport transfer with them from Cairo to our hotel and also a tour to the pyramids with them, which turned out to be pretty nice with a female guide, which I much appreciated. So I'll drop the name of the company and their email address in the caption below so you can get in touch with them if this is your scenario. Now, the second scenario is extremely complicated, which is that you're planning to travel to Egypt, but instead of landing at Cairo airport, you're going to be landing at one of the smaller airports in the country, and then you want to travel across Egypt as well. Now, if that's the case, you still have to apply for an e visa, get a guarantee letter from the agent, but there's also a chance that immigration officers might ask to meet the representative of the agency that you have booked with. So, you need to get the agency to send a representative to the airport and wait for you outside immigration. And in case the immigration officer calls for them, they need to be present to show and guarantee that you are actually traveling with them. Now, this is a complicated scenario, but this is what it seemed like we would have to do when we started planning our trip this time. So I reached out to the same company that we used last time and also to a couple of others to see if this is possible and what the charges would be like. And it was absolutely ridiculous how much they wanted to charge us. So they wanted to charge us $250 to $300 just to give us the letter and have their representative at the airport in case we needed them for immigration. So I mean that's absolutely ridiculous. If this is the scenario that you find yourself in, I would recommend that you just change your travel plans to land in Cairo where things are a lot easier. So the next scenario, I promise it gets easier from here on. So scenario number three is if you are going to be traveling only in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, where the main airport is Sharm el Sheikh. Now, if you plan to land in Sharm el Sheikh and only spend your entire time in the Sinai Peninsula, you can get a visa on arrival. And I believe this is valid for all nationalities, but specifically for Indian travelers. You need to pay $25 on arrival and you get a visa on arrival for 30 days. And this visa allows you to travel anywhere within the Sinai Peninsula. Now, if you plan to leave the Sinai Peninsula and travel to Cairo, see the pyramids, then you cannot use this visa. And don't think that you can sneakily, just take this visa and then get out of the Sinai Peninsula because there are, checkpoints across the Sinai Peninsula and there's no way that you can escape. And then let's come to scenario number four, which is what we followed this time. And this is the easiest scenario, except that we didn't know until the moment we were actually at immigration to know whether it would work or not. Now, this is valid if you are again traveling to the Sinai Peninsula, landing at Sharm el Sheikh Airport, and you have a valid Schengen, US, or UK visa on your passport, a valid and used visa. So, on my passport, I have a Schengen visa and a US visa. Both are valid right now and both have been used before. So when I landed at Sharm el Sheikh airport, I was told by the immigration officer that I don't even need to apply for the visa on arrival. I was simply stamped in, but only for 15 days. So just to reiterate, if you have a valid and used UK, US, or Schengen visa, you can simply land at Sharm el Sheikh airport, stay within the Sinai Peninsula, and you'll be stamped in for 15 days. So we use scenario number four to enter Egypt this time. and it was absolutely beautiful to spend some time in the Sinai Peninsula, to be by the Red Sea, to be by the mountains there, be in the desert. I absolutely loved my travels there. So if you found this video helpful, do drop a comment and let me know. I know it's extremely confusing, the information out there, which is why I decided to create this video based on my personal experience from my last two trips to Egypt. And I know these are archaic visa rules and it feels really annoying to navigate them, but I absolutely love how beautiful, diverse, and full of history Egypt is. And I hope that you'll give the country a chance despite the visa hassles.